about the writing reflex. And just so you know, we probably have about 20 to 30 more presentation style, and then at our last hour or so is really going to be working in groups to look at how we can implement this into our programming and how it might look at the Hanson House, the mental health program, and those kind of things, how it might affect the clinicians in documenting different types of stuff. And so we're going to do some practical work that hopefully the goal here is that one, connects it very much to our day-to-day work, and then two, there's a little bit more movement instead of just listening to me. So, the writing reflex. As helpers, we have a powerful desire to set things right. Would you guys agree with that? That whole general statement? To heal, prevent harm, and to promote well-being. That's why we reflect. That's why we got that reflex. You know, like, what you're doing, what? You know, get about to stick your tongue on a cactus. I've done this too long. I go, let's see how this turns out.
What are the natural consequences?
Yeah, what are the natural consequences? Exactly. Younger child, maybe not so much though. So, the whole thing is here is when we voice our arguments for change, the natural response for our youth, right, is then to defend that other side. And so the more that we verbalize the disadvantages of change, the more committed they become to avoiding that change. So there's just this tug and pull thing that goes on as we're going there. So we really want to, you know, our role, as it says here, is to get them to voice the need for change. We don't want to just hand it to them. There you go. Because then they don't own it. You know, I think of how many youth I've worked with where I could have said, just knowing them, having a long history with them, listening to them verbalize their own wants, their own goals, I could probably, if I were a gambling person, go, I bet you $100, when we look at options and advantages, they're going to pick this one. So it's a lot easier for me to say, since I know all that, I think I know all that, of course, you don't really, I could say, you know what, you could just do, and just, let's hit on the nail because it saves us a lot of time or something, right? Well, 9 times out of 10, youth are going to kick back the other side, and, well, but I don't really need to do that because, you know, this is a whole part of becoming an individual, right, and independent. And if I come up with the answer, I'm neither of those things as the young person in my mind, right? So they get on the other side and they start pulling back. So we really want to just stay there, having those conversations instead of getting in those roles of telling or just trying to fix it. Let's just fix it, okay? Resist the writing reflex. I cannot say that. Anyone in here can say that the way he says that? That was awesome. Martine, go Martine. All right, so we want to develop.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. He can get away with it because he coined it, I guess. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out. So we want to develop a tolerance for hearing about risky behaviors. The longer you're in this line of work, the less shocking. I don't know if I want to say it that way, but it's pretty much true, at least in the experiences that I have had. Anyone find that different, or is that pretty much standard experience? The longer you hear about them, they're not so. In fact, we can almost flip to the other side where we expect them. We don't want to go there either. Like, you know, oh, well, all kids do that anyway, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, it's still a big deal. You're just not going to be so shocked to hear it. Okay, elicit wisdom rather than impart it. Now, that goes again with really working with the youth. Let's not just tell them. Convey a partner-like relationship. We're going to work through this together. Versus, I'm going to fix it. That's the whole thing. We're writing that, I'm going to fix it. Jump in and fix it. We talked about how it's in an vivo teaching, instead of doing everything for them, we're going to begin to teach them how to do some of those things themselves. Okay, I'm not going to just fix it. Yeah, develop discrepancies, use validation. The responsibility for change is with the young person, and that's the only place it can be. It's really their responsibility to provide change. One of the things I talk about, examples I give around the Family Resource Center all the time is, you know, there might be this bridge between, talking about transition independence here, you know, independent, then we're going across this bridge to, sorry, non-independent, going across this bridge to an independent life, right? Whatever that actually means, okay? We can get into details about that. So there are all these barriers on this bridge for this youth to get over there, right? They need maybe to get away to pay for housing or to find housing or like all these different things, skills that we've been talking about through this whole process that they need, life skills they need to have to get across this bridge. My job is not to pick the youth up and walk across the bridge. That is not my job. That is not my role in their life. Only they can do that. Okay? My role, our role, is to, as we go along this bridge, where are those barriers, right, that we can bring down by working with the youth, figuring out what they are, right? And then, if we've done what we can do, and we've lowered the barriers that we can lower, then they can walk over. It's their responsibility to walk over. At no point is it my responsibility to create the change or make the change happen. I'm looking at barriers, like do they not have enough information, right? The skills, do they lack the skills, and do they want them? Okay, these kind of stuff, but the responsibility for change is always on the young person. So talking about the writing reflex, what are your guys' thoughts? Have you guys seen any challenges in this area, or what are your thoughts about it? Every day. Yeah.
So I'm point as a mother here is the urge is to just do it for them because they're not willing to do any kind of change. It's easy for them to just sit around and not do anything, and you're finally like you're giving them all these options to do things that they've told you, and then finally they're just not doing anything. And you just the urge sometimes is for me sometimes just go ahead and fight a job for them. Maybe I should do this, and it's just like just because they're not going to do it. I know they're not going to do it, but I said no, I'm not going to do it. I just have to live with it for a little while. It's hard.
It is really hard. Definitely. Ryan.
Especially when I was working with the Hanson House and the structure that, you know, I felt was my job to make sure was happening. Just to go straight to, what's the rule book say?
Yeah.
You're in this other moment, you're talking about empowering somebody, you know, beyond what you're doing.
Right.
But my immediate response would be like, what's the rule book say?
Yeah.
You can't do that. Oh.
Rule book, instead of really engaging the youth in that piece. Because they still have the choice, whether to follow the rule book or not follow the rule book, right? You know, look at those options and stuff. Any other thoughts on this piece? I think of my mom teaching me how to bake when I was little. So she's like, here you go, Jessica, let's bake. I'm like, okay. Listening to you, because you're my mom. Okay, so I'm in the kitchen, and she's all like, and I really didn't want to do it. Okay, I really didn't want to bake. That was the issue. I had no interest in it. Mom, you cook, I'll eat it. That's the plan. Okay, so you're in the kitchen, and I'm totally not into this. I'm only just, because she's my mom, I'm respecting her, asking me to help her out. And she goes, okay, Jessica, put a cup of flour in there. I'm like, cup, like a cup of drink out of, or like, what do you mean by a cup? Do you mean like, I told you what I mean by a cup. You know, like this cup or that cup. And she's like, stop being funny, you know, the baking cup. So then I grabbed the half a cup and I'd be like this cup? And she's like, well, you put 2 of those in there. And like, so finally she kind of gives me like, I'm going to get in trouble. So I'm like, okay, find the cup. Take the flour, dump the cup in there, right? So then she's like, okay, get the oil out. Like the oil like Dad uses in the truck, okay, all the way along the road. I'm like dragging my feet. I'm there, but I'm dragging my feet. I don't want to bake, right? And my mom, bless her, okay, she says, I'm not the only child here. She's got 3 children at this age, probably from 6 down, and then 1 older, my brother's older. But anyways, so in the fact that she has to actually get this cooking done, she just starts, she's like, okay, forget this. I'm just going to do it. And she did it, right? Next time we want to do this, a couple weeks later, exact same process, okay? And then she's like, oh, forget this. I'm going to do it. Or she'll call my sister in, because my sister loved to bake. So she'd call my sister in, and she'd just be like, I love to bake, great. So then this just kept happening through, as cook a darn thing. Like, I could read a box, sort of. Okay, boil water. Like in a pan? Like, you know, it's like, okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not far. Okay, so, but it was because my mom, again, not putting it all on her because I was really difficult. Okay, but there was never this piece of really, she just did it for me. That's what I'm trying to make the point. She just did it for me. She got the point where she just did it for me. It would have been easier for her to say, okay, well, this is what we're eating for dinner tonight, and if we don't make anything, then we don't have any food. And maybe prepare something for the other kiddos. And I would have been like, actually, this cup. You know, that kind of piece, and really working on that engagement piece. My mom would have known that piece. She laughs now. She's like, you don't understand. No. You do not know how difficult you were. You would not know for anything. So, but as helpers, we cannot get in that place where we're just doing it for them. You know, the other thing that's really common for helpers is that because our youth have been through so much, right? Then we want to just kind of come along now. And they just admit it, let's not make their life so hard. Let's just do some of these easy things. They don't really matter anyways. Then you end up with a lot of youth who get to this transition independence age and they don't know how to do a lot of things they need to know how to do. It doesn't mean we can't walk through there. It doesn't mean we can't be empathetic. It doesn't mean we can't be caring, right? We want to be all those things. But we still don't want to just do everything for them. Make sense? I think not. So, and it would work. Thank you. So we talked a little about teaching sodas. I just wanted to hit these points. So we talked about how we might start out informally, just doing the sodas process when we're in conversation. But at some point we do want to actually sit down and teach them the sodas process. Obviously, in absence of serious problem, explain it procedurally, like this is what we're gonna do. Situation, options, advantages and disadvantages. Explain how it's going to work, solution, right? Provide, obviously, the material. So whether it's the form that we used, or if you outline actually on paper, situation, a little bit farther, what's the next one, guys? Options, right? No day. Okay, options and going like that. But you're going to provide them with the material. You can use an example situation. A lot of times if you've done this already with them informally, it's easier because it's a very, remember when we talked about this? And we looked at the advantages and disadvantages? Oh yeah, I remember that. I was telling, who was I talking to on break? I remember. Yeah, how some of our youth who, we have some drop-in youth where we'll see them, we'll just get to meet them, and then we won't see them for a month. And then they come back in with a friend, and we get maybe 15, 20 minutes with them, and then they leave, and then we won't see them for a month. And they come back, and eventually they start coming. Most of them. Eventually they start coming, but there might be a 3-month gap in there where they just happen to be the buddy, right? Just come along. But we're doing this informally with them in our little 20-minute gap sometimes, when they bring it up different situations. And so by the time we get around to our teaching them this, they're like, hey, that's what you've been doing every time I come in here. They're looking at like, hey, that's what we've been doing this whole time. And so, like, yeah, you remember how it worked? Yeah, I liked it. Whatever their experience was. Maybe I totally didn't like it. Whatever their experience was. So we're going to use examples, use a diagram for the sodas framework, and model writing it down, switching roles. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Maybe I write it down this time to show them how it works. Maybe they write it down next time. Maybe they try it at home. They bring it in. We talk about it the next time that we meet. So we want to transition this into them being able to do it on their own. Whatever that process needs to look like for our different youth. We talked mostly about that. Okay. Let us do so we're going to do sodas all together here with Antonio. Who remembers Antonio from Strengths Discovery and Futures Planning? Anybody?
Oh, Jen?
Huh?
Was he likes to,
Antonio, and he wants to, what does he want to do? He wants to become a chef and a rock star.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna play that vignette, and that's what that music was for. Again, so you guys can refresh your memories. And then we're gonna talk about, well, actually I'm gonna ask you, do you guys wanna do it as a all group? We're gonna do this as a whole group, or we wanna try it again as, individual groups?
Whole group.
Okay, whole group. That's what I figured, but I thought I'd give you an option. Okay, now what? And now. All right. I've actually, both times I have taught this with Antonio, it has always been in the afternoon, and I think I should have hard rock music versus. But anyway, just throw that out there. Okay. So, what we want to look at, and we're not actually going to do it like that, so just ignore that slide. Okay, so we'll do it as a whole group here. We're going to do sodas. First off, actually, can I get a scribe who might put some information on the board so we can pay attention? Please, anybody here? Okay, from, or Libby. So, Libby, if you just want to put situation towards the top. So just so you have wherever you can reach.
Look at Libby, I know.
Okay, so what's the situation? Obviously, we don't have Antonio here to like talk to, but what's the situation? He wants a job.
18 in 3 months.
He's going to be 18 in 3 months.
Did he
He
bounce
wants a job
around?
is a lot about the goal he wants.
Did he bounce around from one foster placement to another? That's why he lived in so many places?
We don't know why he lives in so many places. He could just be like our youth here in Sitka that
Couch surfing.
Couch surf. But he's lived in a lot of places. He's 18 in 3 months.
He dropped
So
out of
it'd be
school.
jobless, I guess would be what the current situation is.
He dropped out of high school.
Dropped out of high school, yep.
He has a history of substance use. Being-
Well, he
Be a
got-
rock star,
wants to be a rock star, yep.
but nobody believes them. And
and own his own restaurant.
So rock star, he wants to be a rock star. Let's just add these pieces in here so we make sure we have all the pieces as we go through. Otherwise, we're gonna have to remember them all. Normally, you can ask the person because they're sitting in front of you. So,
Substance
and
use.
a cook. Okay, we'll start from here. So our decision, let's say, Antonio is trying to decide, well, what's next actually? Situation, what's our next? Okay, the situation is, he is trying to decide, this is his situation, he's trying to decide between, does he want, I'm just gonna preface this. Does he want to go back to school and get his GED.
Are these the options?
Well, this is the situation, this is what he's trying to decide.
I think we should remember that he has skills in mechanics
No,
before we move on.
No,
no.
they wanted him to be a mechanic, he doesn't necessarily have, we don't know if he has the
There was
skills.
a picture of him.
They wanted him to go to school to be a
Oh,
mechanic.
that's, so it says he should be as a,
Yeah,
as like a, we want him to be.
yeah,
Oh,
that's right. Thank you for that, though.
Someone wants him to be a mechanic and someone wants him to be on medication,
Yeah.
not him.
So just to get this started, what we're gonna say is he's trying to decide if he wants to get a GED, go back, that's what he wants to focus on for his education, or if he wants to go to a trades, well, what would it be, like job corps for culinary arts.
So basically what I'm saying,
Well, yes, we are listing out options, thank you.
entry level job.
Oh,
These are the two options he wants to look at.
but who was it who said he should, and then the picture of the mechanic?
Yeah, I was
And then
wondering.
he should, and then the medication. Who said
They're
that?
referring, and that's back to futures planning, they're referring to like his treatment team or his probation officer.
That panel of adults.
The panel of adults.
Power team.
But he's not on this.
No.
So it's between all of these
They just told us like.
The situation is that he's turning 18 in 3
Right.
months. The rest of that is stronger.
He's a,
Let me clarify, guys, and I'm sorry to do this in the beginning.
He's a
The
teenage
situation
boy.
is he is turning 18 in 3 months, and then he might end up on the street if he doesn't find a living situation, right?
Yeah.
And so he's got that, that's why he has the goal of getting a job.
At risk of homelessness.
I risk homelessness.
So that's, and a third option would be entry level.
And what we're gonna do, because see, these first two are really tricky with the having an individual in front of you,
Oh.
right? Because you can't ask them.
Knows how to do this, so.
We're gonna use these three, and what would we do next after we have these three options? Say, is what you said. Is that? Advantages. So, let's see. Do I have volunteer to be Antonio, because it's gonna be the easiest way for this to happen, or Antonia? We can ask you these questions.
How about
What question, thank you very much. What questions might we have, how would we proceed with Antonia here? Somebody decide. So we're at the advantages part.
doing one option at a time?
So what would we ask her? Anybody?
What would the advantages of getting your GED then?
I would be more eligible for other jobs that require a high school diploma. That's why.
What, anything else you need to do? Antoinette?
I might learn some new skills.
We could ask her again, like, is there anything else you'd like to list there? I'm asking you if there's anything else you'd like to list for advantages. You can always come back to anything or anything else. What you say. Okay, so advantage number 2. Somebody else address Antonia. That's why we're doing this as a large group here.
Mark's usually so low.
How motivated are you to maybe go to school to learn how to be a chef? So, the
Yeah, we'll
advantages,
focus on the advantages.
but
We'll go into the you can go into the motivation later. I think right now we just want to hit the advantages. So So it's a pretty simple answer, guys. What would you ask her?
So, Tanya, can you think of any advantages to going to the Job Corps for culinary arts?
Yes, because that's what I want to do. I want to be a cook. That's my goal.
Anything else coming to mind?
It would get me closer to my goal of owning my own restaurant.
I know somebody
It's hard to do a group. I was wondering if you guys.
Although it's hard to connect with all
Yeah, I can think of, you know, Antonia, right. that's
Right,
why
so
I'm
what would you do?
Antonia.
You're not gonna just sit there in a meeting and go, I can't think. I have all these advantages, I'm not gonna say anything. What would we do? What could you do?
What else do you know about Job Corps?
Yeah. What other, she may not, I mean, but this is what,
What's that?
she may not know very much about job.
Right, so it's not that you can't say it, but we wanna make sure that she said what she needed to say.
So we could ask, well, what would your advantages be going to Job Corps to get your chef certification?
We asked that question.
But now we can add what we
Yeah.
think would
Do
be
you have any other
advantageous.
advantages you would like to put in that, under culinary arts, so we feel like?
So, but what if I want more? Like
Like what?
room more, child
More. Well, this is where you could say, here's some of the things that I know about Job Corps, and I wonder if you, feel it would be, there would be advantages or disadvantages, right? You could also wait to get them all in there, and when you're reviewing them, then put it there as well, because you don't want to interrupt their process, their thinking process. So, a lot of times that's what I'll do. I'll wait till we get all the way through, and then when we review, before we get to like the solution, go, these are some things I know about, blah, 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 or I've worked with other youth who have said this about, do you feel that's an advantage or a disadvantage, or you're not interested in it at all? So they can choose whether they want to put it on there. So from here, let's go ahead and move to 3, and then we'll come back to that so you can see how that flows. Number 3, entry-level job.
I can make money.
You have to say that after you say that. No, I'm just kidding. Money.
I guess sometimes I get confused because there's a lot of, and this came up with Genie too, is like, you can think of one advantage and there are many things that fall under that. You know, like make money, okay, now I can afford a place to live, I can afford to eat, I can,
Yeah. So we just throw that out there. Make money for
okay.
a place to eat and live. I think that's what I heard you list better.
Living, eating, maybe I got a few extra dollars on the side for going to the movies. I can take my girlfriend out on a date because I have money.
Yep.
And that's another advantage, to have a social aspect. Maybe I'll meet some nice coworkers, I don't know.
Right.
I didn't
hear you.
Well, if we really don't want to be judgmental and we help us to trust the person that else say, I can afford more pie.
Yep. Absolutely.
And we would write it every week.
Yeah. There's no reason not to. I get more and more pot. Is there a reason to not write that down? It's true.
Right, because we're taking all of
It might be
their
weird for people
ideas.
walking by.
That's true.
Oh,
We're not worried about that. Yeah. It is, that's what we tell them it is. Put dots between the letters.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna start here. Normally, you